Just as the world began to return to normal after the COVID-19 pandemic wreaked havoc on everyone's lives, Russia invaded its neighbor Ukraine on February 24, 2022, with tensions between the two countries escalating and global leaders scrambling to isolate Russia economically with unprecedented sanctions. Elon Musk recently stated that Russian President Vladimir Putin will be deposed as a result of this battle. Hey everyone, and welcome to Tesla News, where we bring the newest and best updates about Tesla and Elon Musk. For daily videos, please consider subscribing to our channel. We'll talk about why Musk thinks this fight will put an end to Putin's propaganda, as well as Musk's thoughts on the war's effects in today's video. On February 24th, President Putin said that Russia and its inhabitants couldn't feel secure developing or living because of what he saw as a continual danger from the country's modern neighbor Ukraine in a pre-dawn television address. With a population of 44 million people, Russia launched a crushing assault on European democracy, bombing some of the continent's most populous cities and closing in on Kiev, the country's capital. This resulted in a large-scale influx of refugees into neighboring nations such as Poland. The half point has not only shattered world peace, but it has also jeopardized Europe's whole security system, according to European leaders. Putin has regularly accused Ukraine of being taken over by extremists after Viktor Yanukovych, Ukraine's pro-Russian president, was toppled in 2014 following months of protests announcing his beliefs and policies. When Ukraine's then-president was pressured by Moscow not to sign a 2013 association treaty with the EU, and the country turned to the West for help, Russia retaliated by seizing Crimea's southern regions, sparking a rebellion in the east. Despite the fact that Ukraine made it plain that it wished to join the EU and NATO, the Kremlin opted to take matters into its own hands. One question on everyone's mind was if a major city where shouts and neighborhoods raced to the ground would cause some Ukrainians to flee their homes. Ukraine's internet connectivity was turned off as a result of cybercrime or infrastructure degradation, stifling the only voice Ukrainians had at the time. Although there was some temporary outages and attacks on official government sides, Ukraine did not experience an internet blackout. However, before things could spiral out of control, Ukraine's Vice Prime Minister, Mikhail Fedorov, tweeted an appeal to Elon Musk to send help, which he did just 48 hours after the first exchange on March 1st. A truckload of 100 to 200 Starlink satellite dishes arrived in Ukraine. Musk also activated the country's Starlink space internet service, generating waves of favorable press about his kindness during a time of severe strife. It's unclear whether or when Ukraine will require an alternative internet provider like SpaceX's Starlink. Having the public endorsement of the world's wealthiest man can be quite damaging. Of course, some individuals are concerned that the assistance will put them at risk if Russia is able to track satellite signals and target Starlink users in Ukraine. But even so, having Starlink appears to be a positive thing. Over the last 3 years, internet access has been an inextricable aspect of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, providing a platform for individuals to keep connected with one another and their loved ones in other nations. Ukrainians have been increasingly installing offline and internet connectivity apps like a Starlink ZLO Telegram and Signal, and the Ukrainian government has shown its support. Fedorov's tweet has effectively countered pro-Russian misinformation from the latter's known internet propaganda outlets by leveraging the internet to make a compelling argument to the rest of the globe. During the invasions, Mikhail Fedorov, the country's Minister of Digital Changes, sent emotional pleas to a number of influential people who could help. In response to Apple taking off Apple Pay in Russia, he urged Apple CEO Tim Cook to restrict App Store access in Russia, as well as Google CEO Sundar Pichai and YouTube CEO Susan Wojcik to deplatform Russian state media. When Musk was asked to block Russian news sources on Starlink, he declined, stating that both Google and YouTube stopped monetizing ads on Russian state-controlled channels and websites. He noted that he was a free absolutist and that all news sources, in his opinion, had partial propaganda to some level. Fedorov also asked Matthew Prince, Cloud-First CEO, to ban Russia's access to its services when he requested Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook Meta, went ahead and limited access to Russian-owned media on both platforms in the EU after Zuckerberg went with a CEO to prohibit access to Instagram. Posts with links to Russian state-owned media were also degraded globally by the firm. Fedorov also encouraged cyber professionals to join an IT army by tweeting to payment processors and cryptocurrency exchanges to cut Russia off from their networks. Demonly Ukraine enjoys female solidarity and compassion in a number of countries when its adversary is mirrored under economic sanctions. In fact, the United States, along with NATO allies, the G7, and the European Union, recently revoked Russia's most favored trading status. The move, which was made public on March 11th, will allow Washington to impose higher tariffs on Russian products while prohibiting the export of high-end luxury items. Under the executive order, the imports of seafood, spirits like vodka, and non-industrial diamonds from Russia will also be prohibited. On March 9th, President Biden imposed an embargo on Russian energy imports, and these trade restrictions are expected to cost Russia more than $1 billion in export income. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, gave the Ukrainian Vice Prime Minister exactly what he asked for. Needless to say, Musk loves attention and frequently gets involved in well-publicized problems to offer novel, most company-branded tech solutions. He has also shown his willingness to get involved in the Russia-Ukraine conflict in other ways. For example, he tweeted SpaceX's logo at a Russian official who threatened that if the sanctions weren't lifted, the International Space Station would fall from the sky, hurtling toward the United States or its allies. Did you know that Elon Musk's electric car company Tesla is also saving the lives of many Ukrainians? Tesla owners and admirers may be aware of several unique characteristics in their vehicles that could be useful. In the case of a catastrophe, Tesla's bioweapon defense mode is what we're talking about. While nearly each vehicle function may potentially serve in some way during a time of war, Tesla's camp mode is generating the greatest interest in Ukraine. According to a Facebook post, Tesla's cab mode is providing some Ukrainians with a place to keep their possessions and lay their heads. Images of Tesla vehicles loaded with ammunition, food, and other supplies were uploaded on social media. The energy embargo on Russia has driven oil prices soaring, with analysts in the United States forecasting that it will soon hit $200 per barrel, despite the fact that we knew it would go against Tesla's goal of electric vehicles and might potentially harm cells. He must urge U.S. petroleum firms to raise oil and gas productions to help people survive this catastrophe in a tweet. Following the delivery of Starlink dishes, he is also pressing European nations to follow forward with nuclear power plants. Fedorov tweeted a photo of what appears to be a Starlink dish erected on the roof of a building in Ukraine, claiming that Starlink keeps Ukraine cities connected. If there was an outage the next day, he approached various firms for generators to keep Starlink and other internet services up and running, and most said that SpaceX would provide a remote software update that would allow the dishes to be powered by the car and the cigarette lighter. He went on to say that all of the dishes he gave out had roaming capabilities, allowing them to be relocated and used anywhere excellent reception was available. Konkiv Oleg, a resident of Kiev, tweeted that his dish, which he had purchased on eBay, was working fine, informing everyone that the country's Starlink services were operational. If all the donated dishes function, that's all that matters to Ukrainians, who may need them to feed tens of thousands of people caught up in the conflict. With rockets striking mere miles from their houses, people in the war-torn country have been forced to flee to bomb shelters many times a day. The situation is frightening and stressful. However, with the backing of digital behemoths like Musk, Starlink and other internet services in the country have provided a ray of light as internet and mobile services continue in the city, signaling the end of Putin's battle. So this was all. Add your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the bell icon and also like, subscribe, and share our channel, and stay tuned with us till our next video. We will see you soon with our next video, so be with us and go watch our Tesla Model X video on your left to see some positive aspects about it as well. Or you can also watch newly updated Tesla Model 3 2022 on your right and learn more about the Tesla world. Thank you so much for watching.